Hello everyone, my name is Dawn Campbell. I'm one of the directors at the International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring, otherwise affectionately known as the IAPC&M. And as you can see from this slide, we are the only accreditation body in the whole world approved by the British Industry Ombudsman, which actually holds quite a lot of sway in some countries. So I've put together this video for anybody who's interested in becoming accredited. Usually the questions I'm asked are, what is the difference between accreditation versus certification? Why is accreditation status even important? Why should I choose the IAPC&M over two of the three other big international accreditation bodies out there? How do I become accredited, etc., etc. So this is a very short presentation which hopefully will answer all those questions and more. So starting with the accreditation versus certification. I think the easiest way to explain this is that when you go to your university or your training provider and they give you a degree or a diploma or a certificate of some sort, it's usually because that organization has already had their body of work, their course accredited. Accreditation by definition is one step higher than certification. And additionally, it's carried out by an independent third party. That's really quite important to understand. You don't accredit yourself. So accreditation is what I think of as the cherry on the cake. What you're doing is you're pulling together all your training, your insurance, if you have any, your testimonials, your certificates, your experience, your coaching log, your CPD log, if you have one. So you're pulling all your evidence portfolio together and you're presenting it to an independent party to have it authenticated, verified, and independently assessed. So that's why accreditation is something that you do after you've been certified by your coach or mentor training provider. So why does your accreditation status even matter? Well, I'd ask you to take a moment and think back to when you chose the course that you studied with. Perhaps one of the key indicators or differentiators that stood out for you was that training provider was themselves accredited by an independent third party as a best-in-class training provider. So what that means is when you fast forward to throwing open the doors and saying, hey world, hire me, I'm a coach or I'm a mentor and I'm certified, one of the differentiators that the public are increasingly looking for is that body of evidence, which includes being professionally accredited by an independent third party. So that differentiator is becoming very important in terms of raising your profile, your head above the parapet in what we used to call a very noisy marketing place. But of course now post or during COVID, what we're saying is it's a very noisy digital space. So accreditation matters because it's about professional standards. It's also a formal recognition of your body of evidence, your portfolio has been, as I say, assessed. That's your training, your certificates, your experience, and it proves that you actually have the capability and the credibility to deliver what you say you're capable of delivering. And that's why we're capabilities based rather than competencies based. Anybody can learn the theory of coaching. After all, it's not rocket science. We're in the business of having a conversation. It's about the skills to actually be able to deliver great coaching or mentoring. So it's also about your integrity as a professional. It's about helping to make your profession more professional in what is largely still an unregulated market. And you do that by signing the Code of Professional Conduct and being familiar with the standards and ethics. So it's about personal pride. Ultimately, it demonstrates to your potential clients that you support and you're protecting their health and well-being and, of course, their hard-earned cash. So why choose the IAPC&M? Well, we're very proud of the fact that we've got lots of members who are members of several accreditation bodies or have been, and that they've actually given us the feedback that says we're unique. Obviously, we're a specialist in accreditation because it's the only thing that we have been doing since 1998. So we don't have a course to plug. We're not in competition with any training providers. We're totally independent, which means we don't have shareholders to respond to. So we don't have to submit figures every month to say, ka-ching, 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 this is how many new coaches that we brought in. This frees us up to be service orientated. We want relational clients rather than transactional customers. Also, and this was interesting, somebody pointed out that we don't charge for our CPD credits. Everything that we offer our members is value-added return on investment of their original fee for accreditation. So our aims and objectives have always been to be the most caring, sharing, hands-on, practical, supportive resource available. And our member reviews tell us we're achieving that. As I said, we're the only accreditation body approved by the IAPCM. And there are lots of different benefits that I'm going to talk to you about. And as Monica here summed it up beautifully, she gets way more exposure and opportunities from her membership with the IAPC&M than she's ever gotten from any other organization she's affiliated with. And Monique's in the States. So, 2 routes to accreditation. The first route is the accredited route. So if you've come through one of our accredited training providers, you benefit from a faster track because we already know the course, because the course provider's already invested in having their course accredited. By definition, that means we're in a position to offer you a reduced fee to your personal accreditation. Secondly, the portfolio route. Because we have a holistic and capabilities route to accreditation, which means it's much more inclusive. This is for anybody who has come through a non-accredited IAPC&M accredited route. So your options then are 4 levels of accreditation. The entry level, which is practitioner, and so for that we're asking that you've got a minimum of 60 coach training hours and 60 practical coaching hours. It doesn't have to be paid for. It can be pro bono, study buddy, family, friends, etc. Right now, we understand that you're just gathering your hours. And then as you go on through the hierarchy from practitioner to senior to master to fellow, which is the highest, it's evidence based. And so it's to do with the coaching hours on your log. So what are the value added benefits of being an IAPC&M accredited member? There's a couple of pages I'm going to share with you here because they've really evolved in the last 3 or 4 years. So much so we've got a downloadable PDF so you can read about all the details. And here on the right, you can see the action checklist. It's a, excuse me, it's a PowerPoint, a PDF that you'll be given, which will help you navigate the site and how to raise your head above the parapet and use your certificate and your logo and your code of conduct, etc., all over social media, your website, and so on. So lots of tips and marketing ideas there. Now, this little book that we've published, and it's available on Amazon, was an initiative that we set up because we had lots of members who wanted to create a book as part of their sales strategy, which I think is a really smart and quite important thing to have in your toolkit. But not everybody has the wherewithal to become published, and not everybody has a whole grown-up book inside them. So we created a co-authored book. 80 people applied and we whittled it down to what I call the Magnificent 7, and I project managed it, and now we have a published book. It's been described as a way of doing business in the future because it's very heartfelt. So I really encourage particularly new practitioners to read this because it's a handbook for doing business today. Here we have two graphics. The first one is the Business of Coaches. This is a self-teach 12 modular e-program that Head of Education, Nikki Wild, put together. And this was in response to a lot of new practitioners who were saying they left their coaching academy, perhaps with a distinction, proving they were great coaches, but they lacked the business acumen to actually turn it into a thriving practice. So we've broken it down, every aspect of running a business, into this program, which is complementary. We've also brought the program to life. So you can listen to Nikki actually talk about each module, or you can just dive straight into the secure members area, click in the education department and work your way through the modules yourself. And here we have coaching capability CPD videos. We put this series together really to support you at the entry point of becoming accredited. So you know exactly what the expectations are in terms of what are we looking for when we're assessing somebody to become an accredited practitioner. So everything from listening to contracting to questioning to rapport, etc., etc. So it's kind of funny that we've ended up with 11 hours of really great material to get you through a 30-minute coaching assessment call, which is live and not a role play. But it's been fantastically received. Master coaches said it was a great refresher, and we even had people who waited to do their accreditation until we'd produced all 11 calls. It says 12, but the first one is an introduction call. A few more value-added benefits I want to bring to your attention and that is that we have a book review club. So many fantastic books to read, so little time. So we've got a team of volunteers, which you're welcome to join. And we read business, coaching, health books, you know, all sorts of different niches. And then we put reviews up on our book review club on the website. This means all our members get to read a lot more books in a much faster time. And then the ones that really resonate with them, they can go and buy on Amazon if that's what they want to do. And we also are privileged to have the lovely Jennifer Butter, who is an ex-BBC Radio 2 producer. She's our podcast host, and she runs Both Sides of the Coin. And this is quite a unique podcast because it's where a coach and their coachee talks about a scenario. So what I'm hearing from the public is, wow, I didn't know I could be coached on a subject like that. And for the practitioners themselves, it's a great piece of PR. So everybody who signs up for their accreditation has access to the secure members area. And this is being repopulated at the moment because we've just moved from one site to another. So you have your members area, you have the education department, which I've just told you about. You have access to resources. And that's really where, particularly for new practitioners, they might want to download a couple of generic contracts, complaints procedures, testimonials, templates, business plans, you know, anything and everything that you're likely to need to set up a business. You've got all your member information, your directory profile, which is where you'll be invited to submit your details, which becomes your shop window in the event that you don't have a website yourself. Once you've successfully completed the accreditation process, it's where all our reviews are. And it's also where our solution partners are. So if you need discounted health insurance or discounted professional insurance or discounted coaching tools or a discounted website, you know, whatever outsourced service that we use and need as a business, from bookkeeping to professional design, we've asked our suppliers to extend that discount to our members. And obviously our blog site, which we encourage you all to write and contribute to, because it's a great way of being heard. One of those discounted solution partners that I think it's important to point out to you is ReciproCoach. Now, that's an organization that literally puts coaches together with coaches who are either needing to build their practical hours on their coaching log, or perhaps they want to build their confidence. So we've done a deal with them, and for, I think it's about $55, you get to coach 6 people over a period of 6 hours, and in return, you get coached for 6 hours. Fantastic. No more searching around for family and friends who can help you build your log. And this is a much more authentic experience where you're going to learn something. And insurance is discounted. We have professionally designed adverts for you to use to, help the hiring public identify you as a best-in-class practitioner. And everything that we do is communicated through the weekly bulletin, aptly called While You Were Busy Coaching. So in terms of return on investment, last year, our members accrued over £6,000 worth of benefits for their annual renewal fee. So to put this into context, for a practitioner, it's £140. For a senior, I think it's £165. For a master, it's £195. And for a fellow, it's £220. Those fees have only gone up once in over a decade, as far as I can recall. So you can see from a practitioner point of view, you pay your £140 a year, which gives you an updated certificate every year and access to the secure members area, all the CPD building calls that we organise, and that represented over £6,000 worth of return on investment for what is 35p a day. Additionally, you have access to an affiliate program. So if you introduce a friend, a peer who's a coach or a mentor, then you are going to earn £30 per accreditation. For entry level, £40 if they're a senior, £50 if they're a master. So you have opportunities to even have your annual renewal fee paid by your introductions. And why wouldn't you want to introduce people to the IAPC&M? It's an organization you're proud to be a member of. So you're not only an ambassador for your industry, but also for the IAPC&M. So we want to reward people who are proud of their industry and best-in-class practitioners. Additionally, we've got 2 downloadable complimentary e-guides, one called How to Choose Your Coach or Mentor, or How to Choose Your Coach Training Provider. So these are more professionally designed leaflets that you can put on your website, which again demonstrates a close relationship with the only accreditation body approved by the British Industry Ombudsman. And finally, in terms of return on investment, every year we hold a week-long event to celebrate International Coaching Week. So in 2021, the theme was sales, 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 everything sales related. So whether that's face-to-face sales, whether it's discovery calls, online selling, and social media. So that is in itself 15 hours on your CPD log, and it's thousands of pounds worth of knowledge and networking and CPD learning you wouldn't have had access to ordinarily. So that's a massive annual benefit. So as we come towards the end, I just want to quickly explain to you what is actually the accreditation process. Very simply, we're automated, we're a virtual organization, so you go online and you pay. You then gather your evidence portfolio, you book your live assessment call, you complete a self-reflection, which is how did the call go, what would you have done differently next time? That's an important part of your ongoing CPD. You sign your professional code of conduct, you fill out the standards and ethics questionnaire, so that's an awareness exercise. And then when you've successfully completed that, you'll be invited to upload your profile into the directory, which is where we drive the traffic to the public to the website. So a couple of months ago, I think we had over 40,000 people looking at the directory profile. So it's well worth including your profile there. And if you don't have a website yourself, then this becomes your shop window that you can drive traffic to in terms of who am I, what are people saying about me, etc. So it does everything apart from a shopping cart for you. You'll get your certificate and logo every single year, and it remains valid for 3 years, providing you pay your annual renewal fee. So what I mean by that is that at the end of every 3 years, whether you're a university, an in-house corporate program, a training provider, or an individual like myself, we all have a mini reappraisal, a review, for want of a better word, and that takes the form of an interview. So when do you apply? Well, years ago, people used to wait until they had completed their training course and then start to think about, right, now I need to build my business. What I've noticed in the last 18 months, particularly since the pandemic, is that people are building their business while they're studying. So it's your journey. It's not a competition. It's not a race. You can join whenever you choose. But if you wanting to do this as a business, then yes, start as soon as you like. It just means that you benefit from all the resources that are available, but you don't actually complete the accreditation process until you've achieved the 60 training hours and the 60 practical hours. Other than that, and the directory profile and certificate, you get all the other benefits. And as I said, for those who are coming through an accredited provider, that they get the faster track and reduced free option. We have plenty of member reviews on our website, on YouTube, on social media. So, don't just take my word for it. I'm obviously very passionate and very proud of my membership at the IAPC&M. Have a look at what our members are saying. And that is it. So it's not a case of, when shall I do it? Or, shall I do this? Just do it now. Because we're looking forward to welcoming you to a growing global community of properly trained and professionally accredited practitioners, because as Gandhi says, your future depends on what you do today. So I will look after you from a PR and sales and marketing point of view, and David Monroe-Jones, my fellow director, will help you through the actual accreditation process. Any questions, please do contact us. Otherwise, happy studying, and we look forward to meeting you in due course.